Lots has been going on behind the scenes here, and I figured I should probably document this because there's going to be at least a handful of people out there that this information would be pertinent to. So bear with me. I'm going to flip you around and kind of show you what's going on here. All right, so the background information on this is I've been running around in my 92 coupe trying to get some data log info through the Motes quarter horse and my laptop to try and fine tune some of the drivability scenarios that I'm running into here. The car's stalling, it's got some bucking, and it's actually got a fairly significant hesitation. So while I'm out trying to get this information data logged, I started to notice a discrepancy between what my dash engine coolant temperature sensor was telling me and what the laptop, which is reading the ECU's engine coolant temperature sensor. There's about a 30 to 40 degree spread between the two. So initially I thought, well, maybe I just didn't burp the coolant system correctly. I got an air bubble in there, and that's why I'm getting this discrepancy. So I burp it again, go out again, it does the same thing. Then I go to great lengths to like try and vac the air out of the system. Same thing. I even burped it a third time, okay, to try to make sure that I had all the air out of the system, still getting the discrepancy. So I got to thinking like, okay, maybe there's something else going on here. Now, just for a little background information, for those of you that are maybe still scratching your head on why I keep talking about these two temperature sensors. So I got the Vert here and it's in completely stock format. This temperature sensor right here in the heater tubes is what sends the engine coolant temp signal to your computer, and that's what ultimately deals with fuel tables. You know, it tells the car that, hey, we're in warm up here, the coolant's cold, we gotta richen up the mixture. Okay, now we're warm, we're gonna lean it out, whatever, all that stuff. Okay, so that one just talks to your computer in behind the kick panel on the passenger side. This guy over here, a little hard to see, but that brass fitting down there in your lower intake manifold, that one is the sensor that tells your dash what the engine coolant temp sensor is seeing. So two different sensors, okay, and that's what I'm talking about here. I'm reading two different sensors when I got my laptop tied up to this Motes quarter horse. Okay, so anyway, now moving forward, I'm thinking to myself, well, how or why or where could I be getting these differences in temperatures? So I got to thinking, I'm like, before I had this brass plug in here, I had the SVE Y block stuffed in here, and I had my computer engine coolant temp sensor, and I also had my ground signal, which turns my fans on. That's not part of this story, but anyway, I had those two in the Y block here. And it was actually this engine coolant temp sensor that speaks to the computer that I was getting the lower than normal temperature reading on. So I thought, why could that be going on, right? Then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, Vintage Air's HVAC kit actually has, a little difficult to see, but a digitally controlled valve that turns the coolant, essentially opens and closes and allows coolant to flow through your heater core when the heat is on, and it closes and restricts or stops coolant from flowing through your heater core when the heat is off. And I thought, well, dang, I mean, why would coolant be flowing past that temperature sensor when I don't have the heat turned on? So I reached out to Rick Love at Vintage Air. I said, Rick, am I onto something here? Like, you know, it's more or less just a theory at this point, but, you know, I gave him the background info as to how I had this discrepancy in temperatures. And he's like, well, yeah, technically, like, there wouldn't be a whole lot of coolant flowing past that temp sensor if you didn't have the heat on. So I'm like, well, dang. Okay, maybe this is my problem. So why I have this brass fitting in there now is I've essentially deleted anything from any sort of temp sensor from going into my crossover heater tubes, because that coolant that sits in there is technically just stale coolant, okay? It's not flowing. It's not mixing and flowing with the rest of the coolant that's in the engine or the rad while the car's running. And what I've actually done is moved this Y block over into my intake manifold. And let me tell you folks, it's not easy to maneuver and get this thing screwed in. It's an NPT thread, screwed in and tight and in such a way so you can still get your distributor and everything in there. You can tell this is all really tight and not a lot of real estate to spare, but it does work. Distribute, like everything meant, the motor's timed, the distributor sits where it needs to sit, but there's not a lot of room for error in here. And anyway, now I have the ECU temp sensor in this Y block, and I also have my ground signal. So that, in case you missed my fan install, it's just a temp sensor that at 175 degrees, that thing sends a ground signal to the relays that control my fans. That is how my electric fans are controlled. And then, for those of you taking notes at home, I obviously still need to place my dash temperature sensor. So what I've done there is gone to the back corner. There's no way that I can really truly show you this, but actually I could show you on a different intake manifold I got here, but my dash engine temp sensor is now in the back corner port of my lower intake manifold. What do we got here? This spare GT40 here. Oh, actually there's no provision for it here in this guy, but anyway, it's right here, okay, in this back corner. I don't know why there's not one in there. I guess maybe these Explorer intakes, oh, they didn't have the EGR maybe? Anyway, whatever. I don't know why that doesn't have one. I've never really looked that close at it. But anyway, my Cobra, which is also a GT40 lower intake manifold, I guess, does have provisions for that. And I have my dash coolant temp sensor stabbed into the back corner. So I have my temp sensors now all living in flowing coolant, with the long story or short story long theory being, now I will be getting accurate temperature sensor readings, because like I was rambling on when I was showing you the stock setup there, the temp sensors, especially the one that talks to the computer, actually does change how the motor runs, right? It changes fuel tables, it changes all timing, it changes all kinds of things in your tune. So when I had the temp sensor in there before, this motor was essentially telling the computer that, hey, we're still in warm-up mode here, right? The engine coolant temp is not rising to a point where we're at full operating temperature, and therefore it starts tweaking all of the other parameters that it needs to get the motor up to what it thinks is operating temp. So yeah, I don't know, that was a lot of rambling, but this is a little bit of the endeavor that I've been on, and I thought I should share it with you guys because I know there are people out there upgrading to the Vintage Air kit, and this is not a knock against it. And actually, I mentioned the conversation that I'm in with Rick at Vintage Air. They are more than willing to hear me out as to what I'm doing to try to rectify this, because this one-way valve is a great idea, right? I mean, it essentially alleviates a lot of the problems we had with these cars in stock format, where they were burning out heater cores when they shouldn't be because they're essentially flowing coolant through them all the time. And that one-way valve stops that. But because of the way that Ford has organized their temp sensors, specifically the one that speaks to the computer, this can cause some grief, right? Hypothetically, all right? Now, maybe I'm getting a little bit out over my ski tips. I do not have a pinky ring, i.e. I'm not an engineer, but this is the way that my hillbilly engineering mind works. And yeah, we're going to see if we can't figure this out. So I've got to burp this system still, now that my sensors are all moved around. This was not an easy task either, folks, especially this one in the back corner. Well, the fact that I can't even show it to you goes to show just how tight the tolerances were there as I was trying to get that goddamn sensor in there. But anyway, it's all changed around now, and I got to burp the coolant and then hook my laptop back up, get out and do some more data logs. But I wanted to share this information with you guys in case there's some of you out there with the Vintage Air kit, or maybe you're doing some data logging like me and you're seeing discrepancies and going like, what the hell's going on here? Well, maybe this could be one of your problems, and this could shed a little bit of light on things. So thanks so much for listening to my ramble, ladies and gents. I hope it helps and adds a little bit of information to the wide swath of it that we have out there on the World Wide Web of potential hiccups that we're still running into with these cars all these years later. But anyway, Thanks so much for tagging along, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the comments. Take care. Bye for now.